Hey guys, it is Thursday. It's 7:05 and this is totally impromptu. I know I didn't say I was going to come on live. I wasn't really planning it, but I had made this card earlier and I wanted to make another one. So I thought, why not make another one live? I can't tell if there's a shadow there. I don't think so. Okay, so you can see I haven't even actually put this card together with like adhesive, but this is a card that I was piecing together this afternoon, and I just want to make another version of it, so I thought why not do it live here. And this is just a great sketch that you could use for using up if you've got really pretty DSP and you want to keep your card pretty simple. So the only thing, there's a couple of disclaimers here. This foil star is a retired item. However, if you had the stitched stars dies, you could cut out a star. And that's originally what I was going to do. And then I remembered I had these to use up. So I just wanted to use them. So that's what this piece you just couldn't get right now. That's the only thing. This is the Brightly Gleaming DSP. So all I have done is cut 4 squares. And then this is the metallic brushed metallic cardstock. So you could also use the copper foil, but I really love this cardstock and it's only available right now in this holiday catalog. So it's available until January, I think it's 4th. So that's what I have used, but you could use copper foil. Okay, so just so you have a sense of what we're using, we've got Night of Navy cardstock. This die is from the Peace and Joy, this bundle. And then the stamp is from this stamp set as well, okay? So we are going to make this card. I'm just gonna put this one aside and we are gonna make a new version, slightly different. So I have got different, and I'm gonna turn, I don't know if people find this blue grid distracting. I've got different DSP. Now I'm just using the navy, so we're playing around with that. Originally when I was thinking of this card in my mind, I wanted to do the stars, and there's a pattern that doesn't have the foil, but it actually was kind of distracting with the vanilla. So if you have other fancy DSP or just DSP you love, this is a great way, and then you just throw some sort of larger image. So you could do this totally with the Coming Home DSP and then put one of the little houses. So I'll play around with it with some other DSP and show you guys that. So this time I have cut my cardstock lengthwise, and what I'm going to tell you about this is it's because I want to emboss the card front. And so generally I don't think about embossing a card until I've already cut my cardstock and folded it, and then I realize the embossing folder I want to use actually opens in the opposite direction. So what I mean by that is this embossing folder, if you feed it into your die cutting machine always with the seam first. So for me to emboss the front of my card without me having to fold it over the folder, for this particular folder, I need it to go this way. And this is the majority of our folders. However, this card here, I did with the settles. So any of these bigger folders that are the 6x6 size, they of course go in this way. So this, thankfully this one, you can have your cardstock be in either direction. This one you cannot, because you'll see what I mean. This is too wide this way. So then you have to fold it around. So you just kind of have to think about that. These big ones, your card can go in either way. These narrow ones, you have to cut your cardstock in half at the, hi Dorothy, the 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, so that is a lesson I learned over and over again the hard way. So this one I embossed, like I said, with the subtles embossing folder. This one we're gonna do with the textured, tasteful textile. So this is another one of my favorite ones to use in place of the subtles, because I just find, you know, you could use the subtles on everything when you just want a little bit of texture. So I like this one as well. I think it gives, hello, watching from Connecticut, happy Thanksgiving. just gives us another little bit of texture. So I'm gonna run that through the die cutting machine. I'm not gonna move the machine over for you to see, so you're just gonna have to trust me. And it is the 3D folder. So I still have the old big shot. So I have my 3D plate, but I'm really excited. I don't know if any of you guys are sort of keeping up. The new mini cut and emboss machine is going to be available for demos to purchase starting December 1st. And then customers can purchase in January, or if you sign up and get a starter kit, you could get it in your starter kit. So I'm super excited to get the new mini cut and emboss. So there is the difference. You can see they're both very subtle. So it just kind of depends what you're looking for. Okay, the other thing I'm going to tell you is I had mapped this out earlier and I had cut these squares to be 2 inches by 2 inches. And I decided that that was actually too big. It was taking up too much of my card front. So I cut them all then down to be 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So because I've cut these in advance, we're just gonna have to go back in and trim them down. I could use the other ones, which I've already trimmed, but you know, since you guys are here, we'll do it together. And I apologize if I am not responding to your comments. Oh, I did that 1.25 inches, didn't I? I think I did that too small. Okay, that's okay, because we already have one cut, so we'll use the one we have cut. There we go, 1.5 inches. I could tell instantly that it was much smaller by 1.5 inches. So you want 4 squares, 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And then you're going to put them on a mat, and that mat is going to be 3¼ by 3¼ and that just gives you a nice little border for your card front. And then honestly, you could put whatever you wanted underneath. You could tie some ribbon around it. You could do a bigger greeting, a bigger stamp. But I just wanted to keep mine simple. Okay, I'm gonna steal that square from the other one. Nobody knows. And I've already cut the foil to 3¼ by 3¼ And now here's our card front. Okay, so we need our joy. So what I have is a piece of that same metallic cardstock, and I've already put some adhesive sheet on behind it. Okay, and that's gonna instantly turn our die cut into a sticker, which means I don't have to be fussing around with trying to put adhesive on these intricate letters. It's doable, trust me, because again, often I decide to make a card and I die cut something and I realize after, oh, that would have been a good thing to put an adhesive sheet on. So learn from me, and maybe you're like me, you know, the first card, you're still kind of deciding, you're planning it out, and then you realize for the next card or multiples that you are going to make it simpler for yourself. So adhesive sheets. But honestly, anytime you're gonna do little die cuts like this, you wanna use adhesive sheets. It just is so much simpler for you, and Stampin' Up! Has them in the catalog again, so it's just not even something to think twice about. All right, so we've got our squares, we've got our mat, we've got our retired embellishment. I'm gonna pull out my other one because it already has a dimensional on the back. And we are going to stamp our greeting. So I've just got a strip of scrap Very Vanilla. And this stamp set we've got a couple of options. So we could do joy to the world or joy to you and yours, or we could do sending joy up top. That might actually be nice. So let's do that because I've already done joy to you and yours. So let's do a sending joy, which you could actually do then sending joy to you and yours. You could do them both. My other trick, so if you have not watched my videos before, I always use my grid paper to line up my stamps, especially if they're clear stamps with a greeting. I am not necessarily the best at lining those up, so I use the grid. Okay, so we are using Night of Navy ink we're gonna ink that up, make sure it's good, which it is. And then I'm going to put this in the corner because I'm gonna cut it out, so the less I have to waste, the better. And then we're just gonna take out our snips. I often use just my generic craft scissors when I'm doing things like this because they're longer, and then I know I'm gonna cut in a straight line, but this is a pretty short word. So I'm actually gonna be fine to just cut straight across there. So you could cut this as close to the navy as you want, depending on the effect you're going for, right? Okay, now we're just gonna throw this together and we'll be finished. It's really that simple. But this, like I said, you find some DSP you love and this is gonna be great. Now, this is an example of a time when I would use the liquid Tombow, the multi-purpose glue. And the reason I would do that is it gives me a little bit of wiggle room in case I don't have these on exactly where I want them. Because once you put the first one down, you kind of want, you can tell mine is getting near the end. Oh, there we go. So I just kind of squiggle some on there and I'm going to just do all of them. You want to make sure you don't get too much of this stuff because otherwise it'll squoosh out. Yes, that's a technical term, squoosh. And we don't want it to squoosh in this particular case because we are working with the foil. And it will be harder to wipe off with the adhesive eraser or just even with a Kleenex or a paper towel. So I'm going to smear that one around and just make sure I don't have too much. And do the same with these. Okay. So we're gonna start with one and then kind of go from there. Doesn't matter which one I have in which corner. So I'm just lightly pressing it down at the moment and I will know once I put the one beside it how much room I need. So those ones are spaced nicely that way. And now I'm going to throw this one down below and then see. That's looking pretty good. And then we're going to do the same over here. So once I'm happy with the placement, then that's when I'm going to apply a little bit more pressure and make sure that adhesive is going to stick. Okay, so there you go. We have, oh, see, I moved it. We have our squares. Okay, and then this is gonna go on the front of that. So now I am gonna use the seal on the back of this. You could pop it up too. I guess we have a couple of options. I've got this popped up, so you just wanna be careful if you know you are going to be mailing all of these cards because if they get too thick, then your envelope's gonna be too thick and you're actually gonna need more postage. So this is what this would look like if we do the Sending Joy. Or like I said, on my other version, I was going to do Joy to You and Yours. And I guess you could kind of put the joy sort of over there like that. You can kind of play around with it. It depends if you want all of that word to be showing or not. So that's the beauty of the sending. We can put that up there, right? You could do both. You could do Sending Joy to You and Yours, which is also nice. What do you guys think? Should we do both words? Or, aw, thank you, Carol. Should we do both Sending Joy to You and Yours, or should we just do just Sending Joy? I will wait and see what people think while I put this on. I'm gonna keep it flat. Like I said, you could pop it up if you want. I find now with the seal, I don't have to go like edge to edge to edge to edge. This is a pretty great adhesive. And then I'm just gonna center this left to right, and I'm gonna have it a bit closer to the top. Oh, I have one person saying I should put both, and I have one person say I should just have Sending Joy. All right, I need a tiebreaker. I need a tiebreaker. Either way, we know we're gonna do the sending and the joy. Oh, I got another for just sending joy. All right, you've been outvoted, Amy. I kind of like both too. I'll do both on my other one. Okay, so we're gonna put the joy. So we could have it centered. This is the thing, I guess I should have thought about this now that I've taken the sticker off. I kind of like it to one side though, and the reason I'm gonna say that is because, so if I had it like that before, I just liked the placement of that. That's the only reason I'm kind of putting that back. So I'm gonna have the joy there. And you'll see, because this star, we're gonna put on this side, a little bit more to this side. Although now that I say that. So again, because I haven't pressed really hard, we're good. I can kind of move things around a little. I'm gonna do that. Ah, stuck to my finger. So I could pop up the sending on dimensionals, which I might do. Where did those go? Sometimes I can't tell if I want to or not, so what I will do is I will cut the edge off my dimensionals, and you can see I've done that already here, and then I will just kind of place it underneath when I'm trying to decide. So I don't know if anyone else does this, or whether this is just me and my own craziness. But sometimes I'm very indecisive when I'm crafting. Center the star. I could center the star. I'm not going to though, but I appreciate your opinion. So we could pop up the sending. I would actually like the idea of the joy being popped up, and I could do that with the puffy sheets, but it's so delicate, it will be hard. So I don't like that popped up. I'm not going to. And then here we're gonna need, I'm just gonna put a tiny, this is actually when I would pull out, for any of you who do paper pumpkin, your paper pumpkin glue dots are perfect to use with these little letters, or when you cut out a little word like this, because they're just the perfect size. And then you don't have to worry about your adhesive, getting it on your paper. Or anything like that. Okay, so that is very quick. I actually think, though, I kind of agree with Amy, you guys. I feel like it looks a bit funny with just the sending. So I think we're gonna do both. Amy, you win. I would need a different card, I think, to just have the sending. And then I might actually move that over a tiny bit. Okay, so there you go. Literally that simple. I like it. I like it with both words. So as I was mentioning, the other one that I hadn't actually put together either, same card though, right? So the only thing that is different here, I used a different embossing folder, and then I had my card running the other direction, the 5 1/4. Now, of course, you saw I had to use one of those squares, so it's missing. But here, we could center this one. And then, I mean, you could just also just have joy. But maybe on this one, I'll do joy to the world. Okay? And then I will center the star, and we will make everyone happy. So, yeah. Hey, Lynn. So there you have it, ladies. Like I said, I will finish that one, and you saw if you were watching from the beginning, I had to steal one of the squares because I miscalculated my math. But like I said, this is a quick little sketch. You could do this with any of your fancy DSPs, or maybe you just have a bunch of scraps of DSP and you don't want to recycle it and you don't know what else to do with it. So perfect. Just, you know, throw it into some squares, put a little backing on it, and you quickly have an excellent card. So I can easily, I've got a bunch more of these stars, so I'm just gonna make as many of these cards as I can. So thank you, Carol. Hopefully you're not too full from all your turkey dinner if that's what you had today. And thanks everyone for joining me. And yeah, happy Thursday.